Welcome to Awakening Warriors, where we talk about life,
love, lessons, and learning.
Life, love,
I literally
lessons,
even
and learning.
just coached you on it. What the fuck?
Okay.
You're on the struggle bus today, I've noticed.
Let's get to it. Just dive right in. I don't know. Do you want to do a life update?
Not a lot to update.
You're running.
I'm a bum.
You're running. Training. That's the newest update, I think.
First week. So, got 18 weeks. 18 weeks away from the race. So, we'll see. This will be fun.
First full week back for me from vacation. It was a pretty good week for being first week back. Sometimes I feel like it's a struggle, but it wasn't. Today's topic, kind of a conglomeration, I feel like, because we just talked about
Let's do the self-sabotage and the patterns first, I think, and then designing your life. We'll just see how that leads into it.
So what does self-sabotage mean to you?
So, self-sabotaging means to the world that basically you do things that set yourself back or keep you living in a certain box. Some habits of self-sabotage could be like smoking or drinking and stuff like that. Self-sabotage acts can also be causing a fight in between your spouse and you or something because you might be getting too high and like your subconscious mind thinks you belong at 50 but you made it all the way up to 75, so then your subconscious mind is like whoa, this isn't who we are. So then you have to it automatically, it's your regulator essentially.
So self-sabotaging, yes, like you were saying, happens when you self-sabotage, right? It's like kind of self-explanatory, but you will engage in ways and have thinking patterns and make choices that sabotage where you're at, whether that's success in relationships or financially. If parts of you don't feel like you are worthy of that or deserve that or are this person or whatever, then we tend to kick in with the self-sabotaging choices to then
activities
ruin where we're at and what we have going on. So like you were saying in terms of like the regulator, self-sabotage, I think it has to do with like identity, because if I don't identify or see myself as a worthy person and then all of a sudden I start feeling like worthy, whether I'm doing work like with myself or whatever, then I may start to engage in things that are like choices that mean I actually don't think that I'm worthy, to like ruin the place that I'm at.
It's you unconsciously make those decisions typically, and a lot of times you don't even recognize you're making them. You're not even aware, It's kind of they're kind of like blind spots, I would say.
Well, and sometimes I think maybe like the vices and things like that, when it comes to like relationship patterns and interpersonal patterns and things like that, it might be a little bit harder, because there are times when we talk about like if we're drinking or whatever, like self-sabotage, like we're aware that the choice that we're making is not healthy or respectful to ourselves, like we're choosing something that's actually like bad.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think when it comes to more of those like arbitrary showing up in codependence or showing up with narcissistic tendencies or choosing constantly toxic partners or whatever the case may be, those are a little bit more
challenging to identify.
Yeah.
I can think of one example of like a really good friend of mine personally, and he has a very interesting relation dynamic with women specifically, and great dude, love him. And I saw him making poor choices in his life, and I'm like, listen, man, like this probably isn't a good choice, I'm giving it to him lighthearted. I'm not being a dick. I'm not being like rude or mean, but as a friend, I believe it's your responsibility to point those out, because not everybody has the balls to point that out, and not even everybody will be aware enough to point that out. So this particular friend of mine, I told him, I was like, listen, man, you're getting way too involved with this girl. You need to slow down. You need to reevaluate. You just need to sit with yourself for 6 months, a minimum, maybe even a year, and then see where you're at then. Like, get to know yourself, because you never really got to know yourself before you got married, and so on and so forth, because he had kids really early, and then he married the lady and all that jazz. And and I'm not going to go in the whole detail, but basically he went from woman and then got divorced, and immediately before he was divorced, he had another woman, and then he he was engaged, and then he got unengaged.
I thought you weren't going into detail.
And then I'm not going into all kinds of detail, but anyways, and each time, I saw this happening, and I could see that this isn't going to turn out well. This is like your patterns, and I'm just like trying to help him point out. I'm trying to help him see his patterns, and typical society will be like, oh yeah, go fuck that last person, you should go find a new woman and fuck her, rub in the face, or whatever it is. That's just general society revenge, egotistical mindset. And then it's interesting because although he was continuing to make a similar decision when I visited him recently, he admitted that he should have listened to me the first time. He's like, you and another friend told me that I really shouldn't get involved, and if I would have listened to you, I wouldn't be in this position, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, yeah, man. And then, of course, the funny thing is the irony part is he's still making those same decisions, even though he himself, I didn't even coax him to say that, admitted that he should have listened to me, and he he shouldn't have jumped into that particular relationship. And I just see it so often. It's because a lot of us are afraid to be alone. That's one thing that I wish I would have had the opportunity to do, to work on myself before we got together. And this isn't anything new. I've told her 100 times probably.
The same for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in relationships pretty consistently before we got together.
Yeah, and I wasn't really in relationships, but
I
was still, I don't know. I just still didn't know who I was, even so. And so a lot of people have a trauma in relationships and stuff like that, and it's easier to look outside of yourself and find somebody else to fulfill those needs. It's comfortable, and it's just such an interesting pattern.
And I don't know, I guess I'll say I'm not judging, because I know that I engage in self-sabotaging behaviors too, and I think this one I've grown out of a lot, but I think how you approach me in arguments, disagreements, whatever, is really helpful. But there would be a time where you and I would be doing pretty decent. We'd be pretty connected, we wouldn't be arguing, bickering a lot, we were just kind of on the same page, and then something in me would I don't know if it was not want that anymore and need chaos, or not feel comfortable with oh my gosh, it's been good, quote unquote good, for a long time, and then I would either get super sensitive or have an attitude or start arguments, because I remember there's been times where you were you pointed that out, you're just creating this argument because we've been good for a while or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I have my own. I don't believe I do, but it's not it's not a huge deal. I have self-sabotaging issues in other areas of my life, I feel like. Not necessarily a relationship wise. I feel like I do really well with that. But yeah, I know.
Ew!
Get out!
Whoa, let's just need to go back in there. Lay down. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this maybe last week, but some of your, I don't know if you self-sabotage in this realm, but an area where you struggle is finances. Yeah. And so, I don't think you necessarily do anything to self-sabotage, but your own scarcity mindset about that keeps you from XYZ.
Yeah, 100%. I have self-sabotaging thinking per se, I guess. Um, I don't have thought patterns, I guess, not necessarily action patterns. To a certain degree, obviously, with the alcohol and stuff like that. But that's not. It is there, but I downplay it, I think, because it isn't where, like, I compare myself to the majority of society. You know what I mean? So I don't look at that particular self-sabotaging activity as, like, that critical. You know what I mean? Um, when realistically, that's probably a comparison that hurts me. Like, because
Right.
comparison is
'Cause
good
any
and bad.
of like alcohol use is not great. Like
Yeah.
it impacts your
Yep.
neurological functioning and all of that stuff.
And the reason why we self-sabotage, again, is because we're not comfortable with the unknown, potentially, Like, if you've always had, for, like, my buddy, he's always had a woman in his life. He's never had a woman not in his life, from what I understand, the day he turned 18, which is when he got married. I don't ever remember, because he was married, and then he boom, 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 boom. He's never had, and he's too afraid to step out into the unknown and be by himself and to, do that type of thing. Because it's scary. It's easier to distract yourself. Like, having another individual is there. It's like a buffer for yourself, because now you don't have to sit with yourself. You don't have to be there by yourself.
I mean,
100%.
You're also when you're in a relatively conscious relationship, you're also showing a lot more of yourself with another person.
Conscious relationship, yes, but it's kind of like using alcohol. You're using their relationship to numb your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's just easier, because now you don't have to sit with your feelings. And then if you have anger and discomfort inside yourself, but yet now you can blame the other person, essentially. Well, you did this to make me upset. You did that.
That's an option, yes. That's not what everybody does.
I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm saying it's unconscious individuals. This isn't absolute. We don't talk in absolutes in this house. So.
And that's the thing with self-sabotage, and we've talked about this with ego and being comfortable. As humans, our systems would much rather be in a familiar, crappy situation than go and make choices to put us in an unfamiliar, potentially great situation. So, like, that self-sabotage comes on board, or like comes online, because we are uncomfortable in this new space.
Yeah.
And so let me stop that, because what is this? It's new. I don't know how to be here. I don't feel like I belong here. So let me do this thing, be with this person, make this choice, take this drug to then bring me back to this place where I know that I fit, quote unquote.
Yeah. Theo, what's his dick? We both listened to that podcast, and it was so interesting because he was on depression medication for 10 years or something like that?
I think he's at 15, 16, something like that.
Hey, that's insane to me. And that's taking depression pills and anti-anxiety pills. Those are self-sabotaging mechanisms too, because he even admitted he didn't even have any feelings. He was like, right. I didn't even know who I was because I didn't even have any feelings.
Well, that's what he was said. Relationships were just non-existent basically, because he was just I would never feel for those people. I wouldn't feel anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are not meant to be long-term solutions. And that's problematic when you're on them for.
Yeah, if you allow yourself to get to a point where you need them. Of course, there's a necessity to it.
There's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place. But there's...
But there also needs to come the, internal personal work alongside of that. Because taking that pill is not just going to make all of that go away.
Yeah, that's not the indefinite solution is basically what I'm saying.
Right.
Take it for a month or 2 months or whatever it is. That's it. And then as you're taking it, work your way off. And,
Well, and however long. I feel like you like to put timelines on things. You gave your friend 6 months to be alone to a year, which there's no perfect timeline.
Oh, yeah, I
keeping
agree.
In mind.
But I would say minimum 6 months,
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it, it reminds me of Ed Milet and how you mentioned, if you're a 50-degreer and all of a sudden you're up at 65 because of choices you're making or consistency in these habits, and then a part of you, usually ego, that wants to keep you small and safe and unfamiliar, will be oh geez, this is uncomfortable, this is scary, we need to.
That's why it's good to get around people that are high, that or vibrate higher than you essentially, because that's what allows you to start allowing your own vibration to raise, So, if you have all your friends at, 90s and you're freaking, well, 50s and 90s aren't going to mesh probably, but, you might be a 78 and then start hanging out with 90s and then start picking up their mannerisms, start picking up their thoughts, start picking up their sayings, their habits, and so on and so forth. And that's really what it's about. So, I don't know, it's just when you, particularly, it's just easier to fill these voids as well with alcohol, with another relationship, with
job,
sex, job,
Netflix,
whatever. You're actually limiting your growth possibility too, because now you're going back to the thing. It's like the universe is essentially, you're going back in the same pattern, just with a different, you're filling that vice with something different. And if anything, if you want to fill a vice, because there's a lot of people that say you have to fill a vice, like I have to, instead of going out to drink, I have to go lift or whatever. Like you're trading one thing for another. Yeah, fill them with positive things. But the big thing is, like, you're failing the test, in my opinion. The universe, God, whoever, is giving you this opportunity. It's giving you this, opportunity to grow.
This opportunity.
Yeah.
You're included in this.
Yeah, it's giving us this opportunity to grow. And then, at the end of the day, you're just like, fuck that. I'm going to actually... So, basically, God, whatever, rips you apart in this opportunity. And you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, this is done. So I'm going to rush over here to that. Rather than saying, like, okay, I need to walk this unbeaten path. Because you're like, this is familiar or whatever it is. And, like, you're limiting your growth possibility.
And that's why doing things, too, that feel uncomfortable, they don't always have to be like a 10 out of 10, like this is the scariest thing in my entire life. But getting in the ice bath, training for a 100, moving, starting to make new friends, socializing differently, drinking one night less a week, like just making these things that do feel uncomfortable but aren't, they're going to stretch you a little bit but not make you totally, I mean, you want those 10 out of 10 sometimes, but like especially starting off, like when you, and some people have some like hate for this, but like when you choose your hard, when you're choosing to do things in life that are uncomfortable and that stretch you, then when life, the universe, God gives you these opportunities, you have faith in your ability to move through that because you're like, you know what, I do all these other things that like stretch me and that are uncomfortable, like I can do this, and it will likely more keep you on that path because you have experience in doing hard things or doing things that are unfamiliar.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
You're less likely to self-sabotage if you already are working that muscle of like, I'm working on growing my identity and I'm working on growth every day and I do things that are uncomfortable. Like if you believe that, self-sabotage will happen less likely.
Yeah.
Especially because it happens under the radar, like you said. A lot of times we aren't aware of it, and so if that's like living in the shadows, but if you're purposely like bringing a flashlight in and like, let's look at what's hanging out in the dark here and let's like grow in these areas, then when life comes, when the curveball comes, then you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing as the best I can. Obviously, we're all still learning and figuring it out, but... Yeah,
and that's why I believe, like, I feel as though I'm practically untouchable, right? I'm using air quotes here. Because, like, tell me something I don't know. Tell me something like, oh, you have
like about himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm my own worst critic. So I'm not going to get offended if someone tells me I'm fucking up, because odds are I already know. But it's great that you just reminded me. And, I might get annoyed or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, it's good that you reminded me, because now, like, because maybe I'll question that with myself. Or write it off. Like, I come to the conclusion that I have this, particular characteristic or whatever else, and then, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, I'll write it off. I'm aware that it's there, but it's, whatever. And then someone else comes in here and, like, points it out to me again, or like, oh, okay, well, that's a nice little reminder. Because, like, God uses individuals to tell them, like, we are the hands and feet of Jesus, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's our responsibility as a conscious individual, or conscious, like, warrior, whatever, like, to go to our friends and say, hey, you are fucking up. Like, you can, and this is exactly this is very similar to how I did it with my friend. And I was like, listen, man, that is a poor choice. I'm like, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'll support you doing whatever you want, because you're my friend. But I'm telling you right now, this is a poor choice, and you should reconsider it. You know, I'm like, that's my personal opinion. You know, if you really love this girl, blah blah blah, then go for it. But you know,
You love this example.
well, it's my strongest example that just stands out, and he's always accepted my things very, you know, my friendship very well. I guess he just understands me. Like, he understands that I'm not trying to be a dick. He's like, I want him to succeed, and I want him to be helped through this thing. And he's never expressed it to me. He's never gotten angry or anything. So
Yeah.
even Ben, like, you know, I've told Ben a couple different things, and he gets a little more frustrated with me, but like, again, like, he always knows that it's out of love, not like criticism and hate and all that shit. Because I always kind of try to come to the table, you know, and present it as receptive as I can to that individual. So
It's amazing that you have that skill when you really want to.
yeah, when I care. So
Even simple things like getting down here to do this podcast. Like, I wanted to just be lazy and not do it. And like, he tells me earlier, like, we got a podcast today. Like, my response is like, shut up! Like, I'm irritated that he's bringing that up because I don't want to do the thing. I just want to continue. Like, that self-sabotage. Like, why wouldn't I want to make this choice that my higher self or my, like, the person that I would like to be or be seen as does their podcast every week, even if they don't feel like doing it.
yeah,
Like, that is I know that that's a better choice, but I just don't want to. Or like getting in the ice bath. Like, there are times I have to like talk myself into that because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. But like, I know that making that choice is getting me closer to the person that like I want to become, or the person that I would like to have my identity around.
It's funny because you have to talk yourself into it, and if I start talking myself into it or around it, or having that conversation at all, then I'm fucked. I'd rather just dissociate, and then just like,
Yeah, no.
I just kind of like almost blank out, grab the towel, get undressed, and then start to get, and you're like, oh wow, I'm here.
Well, just like I remember last time, like I was standing there in my towel, like ready to get in, and then like you were talking to me, so I was like, okay, I'll just continue standing here talking. I even said that, I was like, okay, I'm stalling, like I just need to go.
Yeah. I should probably get my legs in there, minimum at least. Get those
Minimum at least.
get those recovering.
That is what minimum means.
Yeah, punch in the mouth.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm obviously not in everybody's head, but do you think that self-sabotage ever fully 100% goes away?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
But I think
not
the
at
goal
all.
is to have less of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
To be
less
making
less giant things.
That's true. Like less
No.
life-altering
Yeah.
self-sabotages.
Yeah, me doing, you know, me going out and drink once a month or something like that, that's a self-sabotage. But versus like me getting or drinking every week and then getting behind the wheel or something stupid like that, that's like
Yeah.
a way
They're
bigger
different.
scale. Yeah.
I just had a thought.
Did it hurt?
It's hurting not remembering what it was because it's going to bug me. Oh! No, I don't know. Just the goal is to have less of it. Yeah, that's
What was it? Self-sabotage and what else?
patterns.
Patterns, yeah. They go hand in hand for the most part.
And I mean, we can have healthy patterns too. Not that all patterns lead to self-sabotage.
For sure. Yeah.
But
What's a healthy pattern that you have?
interesting that, I don't know. Yeah, just this unawareness though. I think of those like the self-sabotagey ones or the negative patterns. What is a positive pattern I have?
Yeah. I don't see now. See, for me, it's really hard to identify those because I don't have a problem with my positive patterns. So why am I evaluating my positive patterns? And you always cry and whine at me because of this.
I always.
We're
We're working on him not
often,
saying, what are they? Absolutes.
You often cry that I always focus on the criticism things.
Focus.
You know what I mean? You're always like, oh,
You don't have any credit.
I
do say that one. You don't give credit where credit's due.
So, like, for me, like, I want to solve like things that are already going good, I don't like to focus on because they're already going good. I need to focus on solving this one. Like, this is the math problem. Like, what's this math problem? How do I get past this math problem? And then once it's behind me, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, but you also need to, like, water and whatever those positive ones. Because you're just like, oh, they're all right, I'll just let it be that way. But, like, if you nurture and make those, like, greater or whatever, they can serve you even more. So if you're like, yeah, I work out, like, it's fine, I just won't even look at that healthy pattern. But no, you did, and that's why you started working with the trainer.
No, I worked with a trainer because I was getting fat.
Because you wanted to level it up.
That's why I got with the trainer. I had poor habits for quite a while. I was starting to be a fat fuck, and then I was like, all right, I need to correct this poor habit before I become a very fat fuck. That's what it was. You don't remember? Because I was like, I can't see my fucking abs, bro.
You can't right now either? You're
Bull fucking shit. You can see the top two just fine.
1 and 1.
Yeah,
and that's when you're like, it's fine. I love you just
You're starting to piss me off.
You are.
You're going to run off with a black eye before the end of this podcast.
It's annoying. You say things like, you would literally never say you're going to end up with a black eye if the camera wasn't on. You would say you'd punch me, but...
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that I said something up the stairs when when you were being annoying or something. I said I was gonna punch you in the mouth or whatever. Remember when I was laying over you? Like what? You're fucking crying.
Something. I was not crying at all.
Yeah.
You're ridiculous.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
You're always ridiculous.
I think that's for the most part what I wanted to get across. So, like self-sabotaging, when every single person self-sabotages, and the goal is to be aware of as many as you can be and stop that shit. So
do it less.
And do it less.
Make, like, intentional choices. I think, like, when self-sabotage happens, they're most often unconscious. We're living in these patterns. And so if we start to make conscious choices about things and think through decisions and as much as, because I'm more of an emotional person or, like, operate from that realm. And so those things are important, but we also need logic. And so we can't always be we shouldn't more often be making decisions from emotion alone. And I think that's when a lot of times self-sabotage comes in.
You shouldn't ever make a fucking emotional decision. If you're in an emotional state, then you should not be making decisions. Like, at all. Because you're, and this is coming from a man who's very logical, obviously, because your state of mind is compromised. If anything, you would, like, 1, I use logic, and then 2, I don't necessarily do this, but a lot of people do this. They say, does this align with my goals and my higher self? Am I making this choice? Where is this going to bring me in, 5 years or whatever else if I make this choice?
Or in 5 minutes, or...
Yeah, tomorrow, whatever. Does it make sense to make this choice, or am I doing it just because of instant gratification and it makes me feel better and I'm filling a void and blah blah blah, because that's where a lot of people drink. I don't know. I obviously self-sabotage when I drink, and it's getting to be a lot less now that I have to train every fucking weekend. So that's a great thing for me, because now I'm essentially filling that void with training, because I have no other option. I already committed to running, and I can't have both in the space. It's like the Bible says you cannot put old wine into a new cloth, or new wine in an old cloth, whatever it is. Same concept. So as I'm changing my behaviors and my patterns and my mindset around this will give me now I have something to realign my focus on.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, it's interesting because, like, the self-sabotaging is going to naturally be less because you're choosing something else that means more.
I told your brother the same exact thing. He's like, well, I want to work out. I told you that. On Snapchat, he messaged me like, I want to work out, blah, 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 blah. But I also don't want to miss out on socializing. I was like, well, what's your fucking goals? What's it come down to? Like, why can't you work Monday through Friday and then socialize on Friday and Saturday at the most? Like, even that's a lot. Every Friday, Saturday.
But that would be a shift for him for where he's at right now.
Exactly, yep. And we're not looking for, like, if you're self-sabotaging and you're fucking smoking every single day, or you're smoking a pack a day, work it down to half a pack a day. Work it down to fucking one pack every 2 days, and so on and so forth. Like, take baby steps. Some people can make those leaps and bounds 100%. Like, oh, just quit smoking because, I got diagnosed with cancer or fucking diagnosed with this.
But again, that motivation for living means more than the gratification of smoking.
Yeah, yep. So it really comes down to what do you want more? Do you want to feel good in a relationship or whatever? Or are you willing to, suffer the pain and down the road have a, deeply rooted, connected relationship after you discover who you are? Because you have to go through the work first, And no one wants to do the fucking work. That's what it comes down to. Like, we have done the work. Like,
and are doing.
Yeah, and continue to do the work. Like, literally, I would put our relationship against almost anybody. Like, I'd say we have a top fucking 5% relationship, personally. Like, there are no secrets, there's nothing. Like, if I have something to fucking tell you, I'm gonna tell you. And then, like, same thing for the most part, but, I mean, you just don't.
Same thing for the most part.
Well, yeah, I think, and I honestly think, so, I think that you would tell me whatever. You always do.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like, it's taken fucking years to get to that point. We've been together for 12 fucking years. And that's another thing. Don't let other motherfuckers who don't have what you want or have no clue what's going on fucking allow you to self-sabotage. Like, a good friend does not allow you to self-sabotage. Or he'll at least call you out on it. Like, I can't stop somebody else from self-sabotaging, but I can at least express, like, hey man, you're fucking up here. If you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm telling you right now, you're fucking up. And so, same thing in a marriage. Same thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm all fired up, motherfucker.
Apparently.
So, yeah. You just gotta learn to do the work and continue to do the work. Because the work sucks, and it's not enjoyable. You used to cry all the fucking time. All the time.
All the time.
All the time, yes. That's very true.
But
all the time.
As much as I've worked, because I've definitely, got a thicker skin, I've definitely stopped personalizing every single thing that comes out of your mouth. Like, I've done a lot of that work, but I think you've also... I don't know, though. I guess... You've also shifted, though, because if I think about your mean now, it is nowhere near what your mean was when we first got together. Like, you were vicious because you could be. You were mean just because you could be. Like, you don't do that as often now. So even when you are kind of whatever, it, like, doesn't mean as much to me because you haven't just been mean to me for 10 straight days with, like, a little picking at everything I do. And so, like, as much as I worked on my stuff to be able to deal with you more.
Yeah.
You've also shifted in the way that you interact with me, and
yeah, I agree. I'm not as much of a pit bull as I used to be, and I see fucking blood. See blood go for the kill. That used to be my motto.
So it's been like in terms of like
good
that.
Motto too.
We've both worked on elements that have then made it like better for us.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't compare. You can't compare a fucking 5-year relationship to a 12-year relationship, you can, but you can't.
And I also don't think that time in means that you have it all figured out.
Oh, fuck no. That means nothing.
But I do think that, like, again, when you have a semi-conscious relationship, like that 12 years compared to the 5 years is going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know people that have fucking been married 30, 40 years and they don't have the relationship that we do.
Like, I wouldn't even call the beginning of our relationship semi-conscious. Like, we were fully in self-sabotage, we were fully in patterns, we were fully in trauma bonding, we were, like...
Yeah, exactly.
In it.
But we both...
the first...
in the beginning it was fucking
3 years, probably?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. First 3 years was probably knockout, drag-out, fight, and then we realized... Well, I realized that life could be different. And then I showed you the light.
We both are making choices to do things, like, we were getting around better marriages. We were engaging with communities that were healthier compared to where we were. And we started reading. We started going to seminars. So it was a conglomeration of things.
And that's what it's always about, is working on yourself, showing up for yourself first, because, like, obviously this is a choice and you choose to do this versus a lot of people think they're tied and they have to be there and whatever else, but like you don't. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fucking, even if you have kids, like you don't have to go back home after work that night. It's a choice to do that.
Not leaving is a choice. So like if you are gonna be there, why wouldn't you want to make that enjoyable and good and
fuck. God damn it. I find it super annoying that like Sean and Sax, they got like a all in. Their whole thing is all in. But that's like a perfect example. Like, get off the fucking fence. Choose one side or the other side and go all in, essentially.
Right.
Like, you know, will we be married in fucking 50 years? I told Ryan, I was like, dude, I don't know. You probably read the conversation. Or no?
I don't know what you're talking about.
On Snapchat, Ryan? Oh, okay, well... I was like, I don't know if we'll be fucking married in 50 years or not, but I was like, at this point, I would definitely bet on it. I was like, I'm not going to tie myself to this particular thing just because it's like socially whatever. Like, but I'm pretty sure that we'll probably want to be together at that point. You know, fucking 3 years down.
We went from 50 to 3. You committed to 50 when you talked to him, but as soon as you see the love in my eyes, and you're like, maybe we'll back up down to 3. I can commit to 3.
And it's funny, like, I'm always looking from an outside perspective, but it seems like he's got a very good relationship. Like, just like, because you can tell how people interact with each other, you know, like, and shit, like, how much, because you can tell, like, people are withholding and stuff like that, like, and I don't know if other people can't see it or if, like, people in those relationships are just okay with that shit. But I'm just, like, I can tell that, like...
a little bit of both.
That person just bit their tongue. Like, and I rarely bite my tongue.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, this needs to be said.
You probably get, like, death glares for things you say more often than you ever withhold. Like, you'll just say the thing and then I'm like, jeez.
Yeah.
Not when it comes to me. I think I just somewhat have I'm not embarrassed of you, but sometimes we'll be around people and whatever, and I'm like, oh my god.
I feel like our relationship makes people feel very uncomfortable because
there's
no secrets. Like it's fucking here it is, bitches. Like fucking.
And there may be people listening to this who are like, wow, that doesn't sound. But like, we have chosen to build this life together. Why would we want to have? For us, like this just makes sense. Why would we want to have all of these secrets and these wedges and these walls up and these like? This is, like, my best friend, and I think sometimes, and I also have friends, like, it's not like I rely on you for everything all the time, but, like, I am living this life with you and building this life with you. Why wouldn't I want to see you that way? Why wouldn't I want to share everything with you and be open with you and communicate about everything, and it just makes this that much better, and you're the person I spend the majority of my time, like, most of my time with. You are going to be the person for the rest of my life that I spend most of my time with, so, as long as we're together, anyway.
And that's why I like being in a relationship, like, you have to, the 4 agreements is, like, a perfect example. Because, like, obviously, like, you guys people have to get along at the end of the day. Like, you can't just be absolutely, like, fucking on 2 separate pages. Because if that's the case, you might as well get divorced. But also, there should be, because, you know, like, I say things that you don't agree with. And you say things I don't agree with, you know. So you have to have those boundaries and whatever. Like, what's worth fucking arguing over? What's not worth arguing over? Like, and finding that fine line. But I feel like it's, from my perspective, looking at a lot of people's relationships, is either pick every single thing to fight over, or
pick nothing.
Or B, they'll fucking withhold everything, you know, and then the partner doesn't even know who you really are. Like, I am no different with the boys, quote unquote, than I am with you. Like, there's no fucking difference.
And I feel like I always need to say this as we're talking about this, because, like, we're not judging anybody else's relationship. We just have a lot of fun in ours and enjoy ours, and my question is, like, why wouldn't the majority of people want that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, whatever that looks like for you, I don't fucking know. I know what it looks like for us, and I can tell you that this works for us, and I can almost guarantee you that if you take your fucking stick out of your ass and fucking move on and not be so offended by every little thing.
That definitely helped us.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while, like today, I was like, you're mean, and you're like, you're sensitive today.
Yeah.
But, like, before, it would have been a whole thing. I, like, literally would have been crying. I would have been, like, building up this resentment because, like, what you said earlier in the morning really pissed me off and hurt my feeling. Like, We've come a long way with a lot of stuff.
And it's funny because I look at our words this year just as coming, and this is coming to me at this moment, like being playful is only going to help our relationship. Me being lighthearted, whatever, same thing to me. Your lightheartedness will only help our relationship. My gratitude will only help this relationship. So theoretically, like even though we are working on ourselves, we come together better. You know what I mean? So every year, that's why it's so important to pick a word for me. Like once I caught on to that, I was like, dude, theme your year. Like that's fucking a genius concept. Like I fucking picked that up real quick.
Smart.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking.
This is our 4th year or 3rd year?
Yeah, I can't remember. I got flow, perspective, vulnerability, and gratitude. Yeah. So, see how I fucking whip that shit out? It's because important to me. They're important to me.
Last year was surrender. The one before that was adventure. The one before that was passion. The first year was not... I really didn't do a lot with that. And last year I kind of forgot a little bit. But it's okay. We're here. I feel like I'm doing great in January with my word so far.
Yeah. I'm doing all right. I did really good in Mexico, and then it's kind of taken a slight jog to the...
See, even like this morning, we went out to breakfast, and I was just like, thankful for a full belly.
Yesterday, when I was running, when I got done with my 9-mile run, I felt that. Like, I was like, oh, I'm so thankful that it's over. And then it was a sunny day. And like, even today, when I ate, because I did a 36-hour fast.
Yeah, and we're ill.
I've had a rough week.
And then today, when we were standing outside with your dad, like, I was cold, so part of me was like, okay, hurry up. But, like, he was talking to us. So I was like, just slow it down. I was like, I'll be back up. I'll stand in the sun where it's a little bit warmer and just, like, enjoy this conversation with him.
You know what's fucked up?
It crossed my mind again how you say, like, what if this is the last time we see him? Like, he's going out on the road. So I was like, I'll just be here for this combo.
I had a dream that he died last night.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Call him. Yo!
I forgot how it was, but I was, like, reading something.
That's weird. Which dreams aren't always, like, a literal interpretation for stuff, so.
That's gonna be... It's gonna be brutal, but I'm gonna be so mentally prepared for it that it won't be as brutal as it could be.
I watch your words.
Yeah.
You've been humbled by the universe before.
Yeah, this is true. Well, but that's where the greatest, I believe, trauma.
Oh my gosh.
Breeds growth. So
we've heard. Okay.
It's so true, though.
We're going to wrap this up.
It is true with my mindset. You going to put a bow on it?
Yeah, I'm tying it right now.
Oh, yeah. Wrap it up.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. I guess I didn't get a notification. I'm pretty sure. I guess I didn't get a notification for it, but I thought I posted on our Facebook and Instagram last week that we had a new episode out.
You did post because I liked it on Insta.
Oh, weird.
Pretty sure.
I didn't get a notification, but you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. Yeah. Share this. I feel like we were a little bit all over the place, but
yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay. It's more for us than it is for you anyway.
True, and like that genuine flow of topic switching or whatever for our conversation is like that's gonna be a better episode than trying to just keep it all around this just because we chose that topic.
Naturally develop. Yeah.
So, thank you for being here and for listening. Feel free to share. You love for people to follow you or be friends with you on Facebook if they want to do that. You can do that for me too.
I love new friends. I love cool new friends.
Love?
Yes. Love.
Wow.
Love. Unconditionally. I don't believe in unconditional love.
Yeah. So, that's all I got. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you listening. We will catch you next week. Even if I have to be grumpy about it for a minute. And that's it.
See you guys.
Bye.